Yo, welcome to the show where the energy's flown. It's your boy dropping heat. This is the Ozone. Step into the arena where legends are made. From the courts to the fields, watch the highlights played. Football, hoops, baseball, it's all fair game. If it's sports, we bring the fire, put respect on the name. Stats and debates, we break it all down. From the rookies to the GOATs who wear the crown. No halftime, all grind, we're setting the tone. It's prime time, baby, you're in the Ozone. Yo, it's passion, precision, the plays we dissect. From the underdogs, grinding to the Hall of Fame vets. This is more than a podcast, it's a sports throne. Let's kick it off right, welcome to the Ozone.
You have entered the Ozone with Omar and Dave.
Let's go, baby. We are here, and you guys officially enter the Ozone. It's your boy Omar, and we got a great show today. I'm excited for this show because it's NBA. The NBA is booming right now, and we have not even hit the official free agency. The Yankees, very mid. Very mid. Mets, though, I think it might be time to hit that panic button. But you know who never panics? The best co-host in the biz, super producer Dave. Brother, it's a new week. How we feeling?
You know, when we were talking about the NBA offseason is one of the best things in sports right now, we weren't joking with you guys. Like, the news keeps on happening. Literally 30 minutes ago, something dropped. And I won't be surprised as we're covering the show that I happen to refresh my Twitter and Shams dropped something. So, brother, we got some stuff to cover, and let's go over our boys in New York because it's been meh.
Let's do it, guys. We are gonna get into the NBA in depth in our quick hit segment. We're gonna be covering everything, but we, like as super producer Dave said, let's talk about these New York baseball teams. This is the Subway Series segment.
Stand clear of the closing doors, please.
All right, y'all, this is Subway Series, guys, and, you know, we're putting it all together, brother. We don't need, first of all, these two teams don't even deserve their individual segment the way they've been playing, because you get, all right, you know, they got the good, the bad, and the ugly, right? They ain't been no good, so we're going to start with the bad, and that's the New York Yankees right now. The Yankees, honestly, in the beginning of the week, it was just, what are we doing? Can't beat the damn Cincinnati Reds. Like, you know what I mean? The offense is struggling. They leaving runners on. It was embarrassing. Thank our lucky stars that we were able to win the last game and salvage some sort of dignity. But they bounced back against Oakland, and even then, in the beginning, I was like, bro, we scored 3 runs. They shut us out, but the bats, they woke up on Sunday. Josh Chisholm is getting hot, though. Josh Chisholm's getting hot. But what I said, last week, brother, was it last week or 2 weeks ago? Paul Goldschmidt, I was like, damn, well, those guys are going to be able to last, like Goldschmidt, Grisham, and you kind of seeing it now. Goldie has not been playing well as of late. And this Yankee team, though, is just so iffy right now. They're like, there's not, I guess they're being consistent with not being consistent, if that's a thing.
I think that is a thing. And I just, you know, I don't know what it is. And we're only in June, right? It's only been 3 months of baseball, but baseball players are used to like a long season anyways. And it's one of those things that, like, all right, maybe we're heading closer to the All-Star break coming up, and, you know, that maybe guys get their, you know, their rest that they need. But come on, you guys are professionals. You guys, I don't want to hear the tired excuse, but they're showing it.
And what I'll say is this, bro, because you make a great point when you mention that it's only June. And right now, the Yankees have, as of this recording, they have a 1.5 game lead on the Tampa Bay Rays. The last 10 games, they've won six of the last 10 games. So not great, but not good if you ask me. I feel like you want to be 7-3 usually within your 10 games or whatever the case may be. This Yankee team needs a lot of work. I think pitching haven't been an issue. It hasn't really been an issue, but they got to address this lineup. You know, they got to get rid of DJ LeMahieu. They got to move Josh Chisholm back to second base. Get a respectable third baseman in there. But let's get into the ugliness, and that's the boys across town, which is the Mets. And you had mentioned last week, brother. You said I need the Mets to at least go 500. Just go 500 after this losing streak. And I said no, brother. Like with a team with championship aspirations, they should go on a winning streak. They lose the first 2 games to Atlanta, and I'm like, bro, what are we doing? But then they look good. They come back, and they win the next 2. Have a little bit of respect. Okay, and then you go to Pittsburgh. And why are you laughing? You're getting great joy out of this. I'm
laughing.
Are.
No, I'm laughing because we've been saying like there must be something in the water in New York that these guys are playing bad. But no, they go to Pittsburgh, and I guess the water's even worse over there. Because I don't know. I don't know.
Look, man. Met fans. I wouldn't blame you guys if you are hitting the panic button and you are just lost for words to explain this team. Brother, I'm going to do something that I don't think I've ever done on the Ozone. I'm going to go against my word.
What is
remember,
what is your...
I remember I picked the Mets to win the World Series, to get there. I thought they were the better New York team. I thought they were the best team in baseball. I'm rescinding from that.
Oof.
Yeah. They have a lot of holes on this team. And it got worse over the week because they now Griffin Canning, prayers to him and his recovery, ruptured his Achilles. Tyrese Halliburton, we didn't even get to speak about the NBA Finals. Tyrese Halliburton ruptured his Achilles. I don't understand this injury. Like, I don't recall guys, like, ever since I felt like KD got it, like, it's been happening to a lot of athletes. But they lost another pitcher. Peterson, who I felt was their best starter so far, is now starting to get hit around. Clay Holmes is playing well, but he doesn't give this team any length. He's pitching 5 innings. Like, he's got to... I understand this is his first time starting and they're building, but it's like, bro, you gotta give this bullpen some help.
He has a couple of starts under his belt under the season, so even then it's just like, had it been like, we're May or April, we're like, okay, like we're already hitting the point where it's just like, brother, we pause. We gotta stretch these innings. We gotta get more out of you.
Yes, you gotta get length. And the bullpen is struggling. Their bullpen's not that good as it was in the beginning. And, you look at the silver lining with the Mets struggles is Juan Soto has had an amazing June. Amazing.
Right. The one person we've been waiting for
in this month. Right. Like,
Juan Soto we've been waiting for him this whole time, and he's finally showing up, and it's like, you guys are just laying the...
But they're losing. And you just look at, real quick, brother, like the numbers right now from over the weekend. The Mets lost Friday 9-1. Saturday 9-2. And then on Sunday they lost 12-1 to the Pittsburgh Pirates. I'm hitting the panic button on the Mets. David Stern is going to have to really get the magic wand because this team needs starters. And then the problem is you look at the market, brother, like it's not there. It's not there. They maybe Severino. I had mentioned DeGrom. Maybe call Texas. See if you could get Nathan Eovaldi. I don't know, but right now they're in trouble. Big time trouble. So let's get into the.
I just gotta bring this up. Brother, it's been 16 games and they've only won 3 in their last 16 games.
It's been bad.
That's horrible for a team that was in first place.
Yeah, so they had the players, and the crazy part is they had a players only meeting Saturday, and then you go lay an egg 12-1 the next day. Clearly with the meeting didn't work. You know what I mean? I don't know. Like, it's just, I know teams go through tough spells. We're getting into now like the dog days of summer But I'll tell you this, the All-Star break can't come fast enough for the Mets right now. But I'll tell you this, as a Yankee fan, this is kind of where you want them, because let's look into the week ahead. For the Yankees and the Mets, obviously, they start off the week. The Yankees, they have a 4-game set with the Blue Jays, which is big. I think that's a big series for them. And the Mets have a 3-game set with the Brewers at Citi Field. But then we got the Subway Series over the weekend. And I know it's going to get hype. I think, like, right now, it definitely doesn't have the hypeness of the first one, which was, last month or so? I think was a couple months, right? Yeah, May.
It was in May.
It was in May. And we were more hyped. We were hyped. Both teams were rolling. Juan Soto returned to Yankee Stadium. But now this one it's the complete opposite. Although the Yankees are 6-4 in their last 10 games, the Yankees aren't playing their best baseball. We just touched on that the Mets are probably playing the worst baseball of any team in the league. I think the Rockies are actually performing better than the Mets in the last couple weeks. So it's whatever about the series, about Toronto, whatever. I think the Yankees may be split. I'm not confident that they'll go 3-1. I'm not confident that the Mets are going to win their series against the Brewers right now. I'm going to be honest. The Brewers are a pretty good team. So I got the Mets losing 2 out of 3 to the Brewers. I got the Yankees splitting with Toronto. Now we get to the Subway Series. And I'm going to go to Subway Series. I'm going to go to Yankees 2 out of 3, brother, because I just don't think the Mets have the pitching. I just don't think the Mets have the pitching. Go ahead.
Yeah, we got, in that series, they're looking like we got Stroman versus Blackburn, Rodon versus Montas, and Fried versus Holmes. I'm sorry, I think I give the nod to Fried in that one and Rodon against Montas, but Stroman is Stroman.
I'll tell you this, Stroman and Montas have, I think Montas had more rehab starts than Stroman, but those guys were bombed in their rehab starts in AAA. They come back and they actually performed well, because Montas he pitched well against the Braves. I got to give him that. And Stroman pitched well on Sunday. Now, yes, they went against the A's. The A's aren't, you know what I mean, they aren't the Dodgers or whatever, like a lineup like that. But it's, it is what it is. But I'm siding with the Yankees. I think the Yankees can easily win 2 out of 3 against the Mets.
If we're playing the Mets, that they are right now, the ones who've only won 3 out of the last 16, then I can see us winning that series.
Yeah.
But the Mets have a chance this week to get back in order their things, and I'd like the game to be more interesting. I'd like the Mets to come into the series at least winning that series that they played before. But
it's just
there's nothing that shows me that that's going to change.
Yeah, that Pittsburgh series looked so ugly, bro. Like, so ugly, man.
You lost 12-1 today.
Yeah, dude. Like that. I can't explain it. That was bad. But so yeah, let's see how the two teams fare. I do know Citi Field is gonna be rocking though. It's gonna be, maybe that's what they need. Like, both of these teams need that series to kind of wake them up a little bit and bring some juice, especially the Mets. But brother, I think it's time to introduce a new segment. I think it's time. Because we had an event that happened over the weekend. And it had to do with 2 future Hall of Famers. So let's talk some wrestling. Hit it, Dave.
Give me a hell yeah. What?
All right, y'all. Let's talk wrestling. This is where Dave and I, we are dropping elbows, putting the sharpshooter on everything when it comes to professional wrestling. Brother, over the weekend, we got a PLE, Premium Live Event, no longer called pay-per-views anymore in the WWE universe. King of the Ring, is it King of the Ring or King and Queen of the Ring? Is what it's titled now, right?
Well, the night was Night of Champions. That's
it's Night of Champions. Why did I thought it was King of the Ring?
Because they moved. Remember, now the King of the Ring is just a match, and it's not the.
Oh, got it. It's called Night of Champions, and I think only one title was defended. Great.
Can I
all
say
right,
something
so
real quick before
go
we get
ahead,
into
brother.
that, bro?
The floor is yours. The floor is yours. Go
What
ahead.
does WWE have against their tag champions? Why are we not getting tag champions on the PLEs? The Street Profits haven't performed in a PLE for the last 3 pay-per-view events or PLE events.
No way. Has it been that long?
3 pay-per-view events.
That's crazy.
I don't know what it is. You might as well take the gold off of them, because if they're not going to perform, like you hype it up for Monday. I think that's their match, or sometime this week, and it's just mind-boggling. Like, belts not being defended on your belt night of champions.
Right, it's Night of Champions. Obviously, the origin of Night of Champions was every title would be defended. Every title was defended on that event. Honestly, It was in Saudi Arabia. You and I, we touched on it last week, just a little bit, that, I felt it might have not been the best time to go out there. You was like, it's WWE, they ain't canceling it, and you were right, they didn't. I know there was like some issues with some personnel getting there, getting stuck in the airport. But overall, the show was cool. The show was good. Unfortunately, I didn't watch a lot of the Cody Rhodes match. That's what opened it. I thought Randy was going to win, though. I thought Randy was going to win. They're giving it to Cody. Obviously, now he is the number 1 contender. I don't know, because brother, I don't even know what brand this guy's on now. I'm going to be honest, because Cody's on SmackDown, but then he's on Raw. You know what I mean? So it's very confusing as to,
all of it is.
Yeah, because even when we get to the main event, Rollins came out and it's like, isn't Cena the SmackDown champion and Rollins is on Raw? And then he's got the briefcase, and it's like, don't you have to cash it in on the Raw World Champion? I don't know. It's just a lot of confusion there. So Cody Rhodes is basically the number 1 contender after beating Randy Orton. Go ahead, bro.
So, 2 things about this match. Randy Orton's hesitance to, punt kick Cody was one of those things that are just like, ooh, is he going to go heel? And then he ends up making a heel tactic move. And we're also seeing a little side of Cody, and I'm just, there's a glimmer of hope for me that he turns heel along the way. But, he wasn't afraid to take advantage of the exposed turnbuckle and use that to his advantage to finish him.
Well, if you think about it, you might be onto something, because that's kind of like, when Cena capitalized on the curb stomp to Punk in Elimination Chamber, that was something Cena wouldn't normally do. And then obviously we know what preceded that. I wouldn't mind the Cody heel. He did get a good pop. Randy got a huge pop. I didn't know singing his theme was a thing now. But the Saudis, they didn't. They don't even be knowing the words though. They were like so off.
International crowds are just better when it comes to this stuff.
Yeah. I want to talk about that. We're getting sidetracked, but I don't care. They announced the Royal Rumble is now going to be in Saudi Arabia. And obviously we know how much money they get to do these shows. And I don't want to be this entitled American, but it's like, dang, bro, the Big Four should, it should always be in the States, bro. I feel like, or you know what I mean?
I argue that point, because I'm okay with WrestleMania if it was over there, right? If it went to London, if it went to somewhere else.
Right, I guess that's what I mean, Saudi Arabia, the Big Four should not be in Saudi Arabia. That's what I meant to say. Because a WrestleMania in London would be fire, you know what I mean? Or whatever, that would be dope. But to throw the Royal Rumble, that's just greed, man. It's greed. It's greed.
But this is I mean, and I think we're beating a dead horse at this point, but I mean, it's going to keep being beaten until it stops. WWE is under TKO leadership, and TKO is not afraid to show that they want money. That's all they really care about at this point. We see the moves of, apparently they're going to be moving their headquarters now over to Las Vegas once the stuff is done with Connecticut.
Once the lease, that's. Oh man, it's just it's
the writing's on the wall there. There's talks of NXT being moved to Vegas. That was another thing.
Really? Oh,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
can
we
see
spoke about
that though. In
Yeah,
the Apex, well, I can see
Yeah.
that.
We were talking about that a few months ago. So there was rumors that NXT may be moving to Las Vegas, and I didn't like the move because NXT is over here, and I can
That's
go
gonna
there if I
suck.
want to.
So many of the wrestlers live in Florida,
in Orlando. Yeah, in Orlando.
in Orlando. That's gonna suck for a lot of them. Yeah, but let's carry on with the event. Obviously, Dave and I are not going match by match. We're just really covering what we liked about the event. Obviously, I do. Solo Sikoa beat Jacob Fatu for the United States Championship. Another cousin has come into the fold now. Oh man, I can't even pronounce his name. You know how to pronounce it? Yeah. So Tala, yeah. I don't know. One of the Tongas. He's whack though. He's like the whack one too. Like, I know he's had like some run with Impact TNA. I think he's done a couple matches for AEW. But yeah, you know, I like Solo. I think, you know what I mean. If you're going to have him create this new bloodline, you got to make him look legit. And I think they did that by him beating the Samoan Werewolf Jacob Fatu. Jacob Fatu is so quickly, brother, because he ain't been in WWE that long. He's getting into this stratosphere of he doesn't even need a title to be over. Like, he doesn't need a title. Yes, we want to see him eventually become a world champion and that sort of thing. But he's so over right now. Like, I think the chase and him trying to get his title back is going to make him just an even bigger babyface.
Right. I can see him winning his belt back in SummerSlam, but Fatu is just... He's amazing, and there's things that every time I watch him, I'm just like, no big man should move like that. And that dive that he did last week, I'm just like, how did you do that? Because I want to do that. I want to do that.
Right.
Like, we're close in age, and I'm like, and then you're probably way around the same weight as me. Like, how do you do that? Because I want to learn. But he's an amazing talent. And then Solo, you know, solidifying the bloodline, bringing another member. That bloodline will never run out of members. I think Fatu himself has like 5 kids at home, so they're never gonna run out of kids. Like that bloodline will forever keep going. I like it, and you're right. Tala is probably one of the wackiest ones in the member because I think Jeff Cobb is a little bit better than him. JC
Mateo. Yeah, I hate that name.
I don't know why they did that.
But I hate that name. Hokaleo.
He's gonna be their big man. They're one that everybody has to be scared of, and he's the reinforcement.
Yeah.
I'm just like,
he looks like Rhino and Taz had a baby.
With just nice hair. He's got nice hair, I'll say that.
He's got nice hair. I like that. I like putting the title on Solo. I did. Now let's Rhea Ripley. She defeat Raquez in a street fight. Sami Zayn gets a win over Karrion Kross. I like that Karrion Kross got some run. You know what I mean? He's been getting over. The fans want him. I know he's been doing really well in his merch, and at least, you know, I don't know if that was something. I don't know if that match was in place because maybe Dominic Mysterio was hurt, and they couldn't have the IC title match. But I thought it was great. Sami Zayn, obviously, you know, Sami Zayn is a star. But I want to talk about the Queen of the Ring final between Asuka and Jade Cargill. Jade Cargill is my girl. I love Jade Cargill. Love this since AEW. But bro, she is bad. Like, Asuka is one of the best wrestlers in the world. And notice I didn't say best woman wrestler, best wrestler in the world. And even Asuka couldn't carry that broad. No. Like, bro, the WWE can't get her right. I don't think anybody could. You know what I mean? And kudos, I would say kudos to Tony because Tony, he booked Jade Cargill really well. Like, yeah, we knew she couldn't wrestle, but he didn't put her in long matches. You know what I mean? Like, and right now, like, you could tell, like, it's just not clicking for her. It seems like when she wrestles, like she's counting in her head. That's what it feels like. Like 1, 2, 3, okay. And it's like, yo, you could see it. You know what I mean? But she gets to win. I think this is so predictable, brother. When she won, I'm like, oh, what's gonna happen is she's gonna get the match against Tiffy. She's going to win, and then Naomi cashes in on her. That's what I got. The minute Jade Cargill won, I said, that's exactly what's going to happen. She's going to beat Tiffany. She's going to get her SummerSlam moment, because I believe that's it, right? They get the SummerSlam main event, right? So she'll beat Tiffy. Naomi will come in, cash in. Or maybe like in their match, Naomi
or she
catches
catches in the middle, or right before.
Catches in the middle. Maybe it comes a triple threat or whatever. But long story short, Naomi will be champion at SummerSlam. I think that's what I got the minute she won.
So I think the same stipulation, but instead I think Naomi cashes in a little bit before, so that way it doesn't have the belt exchange hands from Jade. I think they want to give Jade her moment when she does get the belt. But I'm not. I wouldn't be opposed to that ending.
It'll happen during a match, is what you're saying.
Yeah, like it could be like
she'll come in and make it a triple
They're about
threat.
to square off, right? They're about to square off. The bell's about to ring, and then Naomi's music hits, and she cashes in, and that's how the match starts. That's how I think it plays out. But something about Jade. Jade has been. When it comes to entrances and her fit and everything, she always looks good.
Yeah,
but and she's people have advocated for her to be Storm, and she has done Storm before. But it was
Storm themed. Her outfit for the match.
Yeah, so she looked great as Storm. So just go to see
her acting will be better than her wrestling.
I hope so.
But that's still my B. Let's get into this main event, brother. John Cena versus CM Punk. I'll tell you this. I did like the build. Obviously, we talked about it last week at length about the pipe bomb. Obviously, then on Friday, CM Punk kind of flips the script, goes into the thugonomics of John Cena. The only thing that sucked is because somebody. Obviously, he's not gonna write the rap. CM Punk, but it just felt like it just felt.
It didn't feel natural. It
didn't feel natural at all. And then it's like I saw a tweet that was like, "Yo, not like us." It's the irony that they reference not like us, and it's like, and CM Punk is like, "Bro, you don't get it. Like, you're not supposed to get it. Like, bro, no." No, like that's the whole point of not like us. You know what I mean? Like people like you, like right? Like, but it was cool. He comes out with the Cubs jersey. I thought it was dope. You know what I mean? But the match, I wrote this on the chat. I don't know if you had noticed, bro. They're old, and I like. Bro, that match was in slow motion, dog. It was in slow motion. I'm watching it, and I'm just like, not that I could care less, because it's John Cena and CM Punk. You're invested in it. But the match was just so blah. And Wells had said, but then Punk's had good matches, like, recently. And it's like, yeah, because he's been carried. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's had classics. He's had great matches with McIntyre. He's had good matches with Seth. He's been carried by those guys. MJF, Hangman's. You know what I mean? I'm not saying now like he's dead weight, but there's a difference where it's like you're playing off the much younger, more athletic, the guy. Then now you're that guy for Cena, and you're in your 40s, and you can't move as quick.
And Cena's somebody who also kind of has to be carried by the talent he's working with too. Because you got, I think he did the 5-knuckle shuffle twice in less than a minute or 2 minutes, and I'm just like, yes, you're right. They did look like they were wrestling in slow-mo. I think it's like the thing with WWE, and especially when it comes to that main title picture, is that the wrestling has not been so great as compared to what the storyline has been. We've seen that a lot with Roman. It was interesting because of what unfolded during the match. and you had Seth Rollins and his crew come out, and they took advantage of the ref bump. The ref got knocked out from shoulder tackle from Cena, and I mean,
and that was a nice callback. That was a nice callback, the Charles Robinson run, because that's like viral, the video, and there's always something like, oh, when Mom cooked, and it's the video of Charles Robinson running, and they shot it exactly how the original. So that was pretty cool. The end was just so much going on, brother. We just touched on it. Like, I get like Rollins has the beef with Punk, okay, but then you see where the confusion part lies, because Punk's on Raw, John Cena's the SmackDown champion.
So this whole thing with the WWE title belt, we're back to the days of when everything was defended on any show. Like, we're back into the lawless days of, like, everything that happens on Raw carries over to SmackDown. And that's been happening, I think, for the last year. We've been seeing that a lot. Where there's no exclusive... there's no exclusivity as far as with that belt and where the guys show up. Because Cody shows up on Raw. Cody shows up on SmackDown. And the same vice versa. John Cena does the same. And everybody who's associated with that belt just goes on both shows. And it's just weird. Especially because you never see Gunther on SmackDown. So, I don't know. Or Jey Uso when he was,
you got a lot going on. You got Rollins' crew coming out, and then you have Penta. And Penta does the Jeff Hardy.
Doing the Jeff Hardy.
So Penta's actually, like, doing his stuff on the... It's like, bro, you can see that Braun Breaker's like, bro, what are you doing? Like, that Braun Breaker had to get out the ring and cut...
What made it funnier is that they had Bronson Reed, right? Yes. Bronson Reed was on his knees the whole time. Like, they panned back to him after this whole thing is going, and he's still on his knees. And they're like, oh, I should do the drop. And it's like, what were you doing this whole time?
Right.
Oh, my God. So that didn't make sense to me. I think I get that there's stuff going between Bronson and Penta, but I don't know. I felt like somebody else. Sammy coming out made more sense. But I don't know.
Yeah, because it was just a mess. It was just a mess, and it's just like, yo, Penta, like, I wonder if they told him to do that. I'm not sure, but obviously, I didn't like the part where CM Punk try to handshake Cena. I didn't like that part. I know
when they hugged.
They were like helping fight off Rollins and them and stuff, and I get that part, but
it was a callback to WrestleMania, or actually when Cena betrayed Cody, but I don't know. I just.
But then my thing is, bro, he's already a heel,
right?
Well, why would you think that Cena's not gonna do something slimy? You know what I'm saying? And he did. He low blows CM Punk. And I think he hit him what I believe was the 4th attitude adjustment, because he hit him like 3 times, and Punk was kicking out. And Cena goes on and wins, and I think that's the last match we see of CM Punk and John Cena. Obviously, John Cena is going to be retiring at the end of the year, but I think it's another. Little chapter to their story. You know what I mean? Like, we've been robbed of 11 years because of, CM Punk's situation with WWE and walking out. So it was cool to see. I just thought, like, they're a little long in the tooth, both of them. And now I think both of them need to be with guys that can carry them a little bit more and kind of disguise their inabilities, I guess I don't know, lack of abilities. I don't know what it is, but
and then something we have to. So now Cody Rhodes challenges him, at SummerSlam, and it's just like, well, we just saw that match, and that match wasn't the most exciting.
It wasn't good
either.
It was not good. No, I agree. It was not good. And that got kind of has kind of like the Naomi situation, and I said, like, does it happen where Rollins cashes in possibly? I do know that Roman. There's been rumors that Roman is going to be coming back. So I can almost guarantee he's probably going to start feuding with Rollins. That would just make more sense. But I do wonder where they go with Punk. Because I think Cody and Orton is just beginning. I don't think that's just a one-off. I think they're gonna circle back to that. But I'm interested to see what's next with Punk, because you've already lost to Cena. Yeah, I know he's got smoke with Rollins, but if Roman's coming back, it makes just more sense for Roman to feud with Rollins, because we've already seen Punk. So I don't know. Punk may be the odd man out. But I don't know. But guys, you let us know. Let us know in the comments below if you feel like, what's going to happen. But go ahead, brother.
So I just want to bring up two things, because I think we're about to wrap up our segment with wrestling. Two things. On Friday, Julia just won the U.S. Championship, Women's Championship.
Good. I don't like Zelina Vega so good.
Yeah, Julia is a really great talent, and I'm happy that she got the belt as soon as she did. The other thing I want to know is just and brother, maybe you can help me with this. It's just the when it comes to the criticism of Punk and the Saudi Arabia stuff, because of his comments about blood money and saying that he would never wrestle there. I think it's so overblown about his comments, and he gets so much flack for it, and rightfully so, right? He's been called a hypocrite for this, but there are so many other wrestlers that I noticed, because I had to do my research, who have also said stuff about Saudi Arabia and just ended up going. We could talk about them. Let's go. Ryback. Ryback is somebody who nobody really cares about, right? And this is going to bring my point up later. Ryback is somebody who said he felt uncomfortable and beheadings were nearby, so he didn't want to go. Guess what? He wrestled there. Goldberg had said that he didn't feel very comfortable going because he was a Jewish man and he just didn't, feel like he would be comfortable there. The man has wrestled there 4 times. Okay? Chris Jericho. Chris Jericho is another wrestler who has also made negative comments about how the structure is, that it was only men's only. Guess what? He ended up wrestling in Saudi Arabia.
Yes, he did.
John Cena, at the same time, had said that he didn't want to wrestle over there because of the assassination of Jamal Khashoggi, and I may be saying that wrong, but he also may have felt pressure about, because he was acting at the time, that he didn't feel like it was the right move to go wrestle over there. Well, guess what? John Cena's wrestled over in Saudi Arabia. Daniel Bryan is the only one, I think, who said something and never went over there. Kevin Owens said he wouldn't go, but ended up going. Sami Zayn said he wouldn't go. So they have performed twice. And Kevin Owens, when he ended up going, was with Sami Zayn. Now, granted, Sami Zayn last night, he wore the Palestinian flag on his things, and I guess that is his way of making a statement while he was there, but doesn't get as much flack. And all that comes back to me with the Punk thing is that the reason Punk is being so scrutinized for his comments on there is because he's that important to people's minds. As much as people want to make it seem like they don't like Punk, that he's not that big, that he's not that important. No, he holds real estate in your mind, because all these other guys that we just mentioned, they don't get the flack that CM Punk is getting. They're all going for the same bag. You can't tell me they're doing it because they love it. So why is it that Punk is under this microscope to this point? Yes. Is it coming off as hypocritical? Yes. But you don't say that about Cena. You don't say that about the other guys I just mentioned. Goldberg, nobody gives a crap.
Right. As the Hall of Famer would say, Ted DiBiase, everybody's got a price. And that's just the way it is. Man, what was it? Oh, so obviously this is not a political show, obviously, but Canelo Alvarez, right? And it's funny that you mentioned that Canelo Alvarez was, I guess, was supposed to get sponsored, or was asked to see maybe Tesla would sponsor him, right? If they whatever. He said no, obviously because of Elon and his relation with obviously President Trump and that sort of thing. And it's like, and I remember I'm like, wow, like this is a guy who can't be bought in that sense. Like, nah, I'm a put my dignity and like, no, like I'm gonna stand on what I believe, and I'm just not gonna rock with you. And the unfortunate part is that that's not the case in most situations. People gonna take the bag. So yes, like I do agree that I think it's unfair how Punk has been like, everybody has been coming with these videos of him being a hypocrite, and it's like, First of all, him going to WWE is going back was already that. So I could care less. Like at the end of the day, because my thing is this: CM Punk is big enough where if he didn't want to go, I'm pretty sure he could have been like, "Yo, in my contract, like I'm not doing the Saudi show, just to let you know." But everybody got a price, and I guess look, he apologized. He did apologize.
The fans liked him. They cheered for him and everything.
At first they booed him. They first booed him in the preview show, whatever it was, the night before. But he apologized and they cheered for him. He's a big guy, but you know what it is? It's exactly what you said. It's CM Punk. Everything CM Punk does it's under a microscope.
Polarizing. It's polarizing.
Yeah. He's not the first. He's not, and he's definitely not going to be the last. But guys, let us know. Let us know what you think. What would you have done if you were in CM Punk's shoes? Would you have wrestled in Saudi? What do you guys think? Who's cashing in? Are we excited for another Cody Rhodes John Cena match at SummerSlam? Which will be in the New York area in Jersey, MetLife Stadium. So, we'll see about that. But brother,
with Cardi B hosting, Cardi B's hosting.
Really? Is she hosting?
She's hosting SummerSlam.
Oh God, I don't know how that's gonna. I don't know. Whatever. But we got a lot of NBA to cover, and we're gonna get into it right now on Quick Hits. All right, y'all, this is Quick Hits. This is where we cover everything around the globe. The hits are coming at you so quick, you don't see it coming. And this is a very special NBA one, guys. This Quick Hits is solely on this NBA free agency fast break frenzy. As this show is titled, it's a lot going on, and Dave and I are going to get into the meat and potatoes of it. So, we already made the announcement. Shout outs to you, brother, making that announcement last week. Once we finished recording, Kevin Durant got traded. So, two-time Finals MVP Kevin Durant and Phoenix Suns agreed to a trade Kevin Durant to the Houston Rockets in exchange for Jalen Green, Dylan Brooks, and what was the number 10 pick of the 2025 draft, and 5 second-round picks. Brother, I know you touched on it a little bit when you was breaking the news, but now that it's settled, the dust is settled, who really won this trade?
If you're asking me my reaction a week later, I think the Rockets won this trade, right? You vastly improved. You have that veteranship, because remember, we prefaced this, we don't have leadership when it comes to Kevin Durant. He's not the guy that you focus on and is like, he's going to lead the locker room. But, and maybe he changes in this room. But as far as like that, I think the Rockets win this one. Something that was brought to my attention that just doesn't make sense to me is there are 4 shooting guards on the Suns that are getting paid over $15 million a year. That is Allen, that is Booker, that is Bradley Beal, and now Jalen Green. I don't think you're going to play all 4 guards. So, y'all got something to figure out over there.
Yeah, it's a mess. I think, to answer the question, obviously Houston lacked, although Van Fleet is a very good player, but they just lack that guy. Okay, we need a basket. Let's give it to this guy. Jalen Green was unfortunately not it. Very inconsistent in the postseason. And when you look at the success of Cade Cunningham, which they were drafted in the same class, Cade was 1, Jalen Green 2, and you look at the progression and the growth in Cunningham's game. And yes, Cunningham I thought he was a better player, and he is a better player. However, you never saw that with Jalen Green. Like, you saw spurts of Jalen Green's upside, but you just never saw the level of consistency that you would hope by now you would see, as we saw in Cade Cunningham this season. Houston, not being able to get Kevin Durant and not giving up Amen Thompson or Jabari Smith, like, that's a win. Yeah, you got rid of Jalen Green, but like, you didn't really want to rock with him anyway like that.
And you kept your coach.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you got your coach. Shout out to the Knicks. The Knicks is getting all them coaches paid, and I think that's something that But you know why? But then you see, but they're not mentioning that. They want to make fun of the Knicks and we're getting sidetracked, but they want to make fun of the Knicks because, the Knicks are coming at these coaches. It's not a coincidence that these coaches now get extensions, which tells you behind the scenes, they were probably contacting the Knicks. Hey, I might be available, using the Knicks as leverage. But yeah, like I think what Houston was able to do is you kept your good young players, and now you're gonna package them and center them around Kevin Durant. Now I'll say this about Phoenix. I like them getting Dylan Brooks. I think Dylan Brooks is he's a dog. He's one of those guys that you can't stand him, but if he's on your team, you rocking with him. I think they got to figure out the Bradley Beal situation. I know you mentioned Grayson Allen. I did read they're gonna do something. I think they're gonna find a way to let him go, whether that's a buyout or something. I don't think he's gonna be on the team going forward. You do hear that Phoenix may flip Jalen Green. They may flip him. Maybe they're not so confident. Maybe but I can't see that happening. Bradley Beal is a big mess. He gets paid a lot. He's hurt. He's always hurt. He's got the no trade clause. He seems like his family's happy in Phoenix, so he's willing to stay in Phoenix. They're a mess. They got like 8 centers now because they traded for Mark Williams, and we're gonna get into that. I'm jumping shit, but I don't know. Like Houston won. I'll just say that.
Last thing before we move on. Can you remember Gilbert Arenas talking about Jalen Green for Randall and Brunson?
He said, "Yo, Houston would hang up the phone if we were to call and inquire about Jalen Green and offer Jalen Brunson and Julius Randle."
And the man was traded for 37-year-old Kevin Durant. That's it. And he was traded with people.
And he was packaged with picks because that wasn't enough for Phoenix to just trade 37-year-old Kevin Durant for.
So yeah, we're holding receipts.
Check out our TikTok, the Ozone. We put Chill Gil on notice about that. Check out our TikTok.
Let's move it on, brother. So the Boston Celtics have traded Drew Holiday to the Portland Trail Blazers in exchange for Anthony Simmons and 2 second-round picks. What does this move signal for both teams moving forward?
It's funny that Portland now has traded for Holiday twice. They traded Dame Lillard to Milwaukee. They got him, and then they ended up flipping him back to the Celtics. And now you get it for Anthony Simons. Look, the Knicks broke the Celtics. It's that simple. We did it again. We did it in 2013 when the Carmelo 54-win team dismantled the Allen, KG, Paul Pierce Celtics, and now we're doing it here. Obviously, a lot has to do with the Tatum injury. You knew this was happening. I think obviously the Knicks win this past season against the Celtics accelerated this process. We knew this was going to happen. New ownership is coming in. They're well over the luxury tax because it just with the way the apron is now, you cannot pay guys. You can't have a starting lineup of your guys making $35-40 million. And, I think Drew Holiday is going to be perfect for the Portland Trail Blazers as well. Portland Trail Blazers had a good year with Chauncey Billups this past season. You could tell they're going to be one of those teams in that play-in hunt next season. And he adds veteran leadership to this squad. He can still play. He's a switch Army knife. He can guard multiple positions. I think that's something the Celtics are going to miss. Now the Celtics get Anthony Simons. He can play. He's a good offensive talent. However, the guy plays no defense, and he's been hurt as of late. So obviously, this is a move for the Trailblazers to let's now get into the play-in conversation. And I think for the Celtics, this is more let's get some help on the offensive end for Jaylen Brown, and let's see what happens.
These are just rumors, but you hear that Drew Holiday isn't too happy about being back in Portland.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that actually turns out.
Who would be happy? Portland is miserable. We want to live there? I wouldn't want to live in Portland.
I'd like to visit. The food is good, I heard, out there. But that's about it. That's all I hear about Portland. The food and the woods. The Twilight took place, I think, out there. I hear that he's not so happy, so I want to see how that shapes up. They were talking about maybe he gets moved again, and that'd be funny because that's just his landing spot before he goes somewhere else. We'll see how that turns out. And the Celtics are going to be interesting this year. You're going to start Derek White, Simmons, Jaylen Brown, you don't have Porzingis anymore, and then you got.
But let's get into that. So let's get into that. So
All right.
the Celtics officially broke off another piece, guys, of their championship core. Shout out to the Knicks. Because the Boston Celtics, Atlanta, and Brooklyn, they're finalizing. Now it's final, but I think they got to wait till July 6th to make it official. Are finalizing a 3-team trade that's sending Kristaps Porzingis and a second-round pick to the Hawks. Terrence Mann and Atlanta's 22nd pick went to the Nets. And George Niang, the minivan, a.k.a. the minivan, along with a second-rounder to the Celtics. Now, what does this trade, brother, say about Boston's long-term plans? Because you were about to get into that.
This is not the same old Celtics going forward. And you already had Jaylen Brown, who at one point was the highest paid player in the league. I think before this last season, or I don't know if he still is.
Yeah, he was. No, not anymore.
Yeah, so, you don't have Tatum at least until maybe the second half of the season, and that's, hoping, because that injury is a tough one to come back, especially how late he got injured. And you hear progressions are happening, but people always talk about that when it happens to injuries until we see them play, and it's like, oh, you're not playing as good as you used to. And we probably won't see him as good until the following year, because that is a 2-year injury anyways. The Celtics are going to look a lot different, and then management is definitely going to look different for them. So don't expect them to be automatically in the title picture just because they're just 2 years removed. Just don't expect that. I think this is a team that definitely has a lot of things to learn along the way. And you know what? It couldn't have happened to a better coach, because I can't stand Mazzulla.
Yeah, Mazzulla. Yeah, I don't like him either. I'm not a fan. Yeah, this Celtics team, they're gonna, they're. I don't think, they're gonna be in the middle of the pack. I don't, Jordan Yang, the minivan, he's like, really? You know what I'm saying? So obviously, they're obviously the Celtics are punting on the season. It's. I don't think they're hiding it. With Jason Tatum, he's going to miss the season. They'll hover around 40 wins, I think. And let's see. There might be another piece they might trade off. So who knows how that goes.
So, brother, the New Orleans Pelicans are making a major roster shakeup by trading C.J. McCollum, Kelly Olynyk, and a future second-round pick to the Washington Wizards in exchange for Jordan Poole, Sadiq Bey, and the number 40th pick in the draft. With this move, New Orleans appears to be aiming for a younger, more dynamic role, while Washington adds veteran leadership. Is this a win-now move for the Wizards, or are the Pelicans taking the right gamble on the upside?
It's interesting, right? This is an interesting move, right? Because obviously when, you had Washington going and making this trade with Golden State because they saw something in Jordan Poole. Where, Jordan Poole looked amazing. He was the sixth man in the Golden State. Definitely helped them win that definitely a big piece in helping them win that championship against the Celtics. However, what we did see is the lack of maturity from Jordan Poole. You know what I mean? Yes, are those Washington teams bad? Yeah, they were bad. But you just never saw his game elevate, you know what I mean, as Washington thought it would. Of being, okay, you're the guy now. And they tried it. They went, they got Kyle Kuzma. They try to pair this young core, and then hopefully, hopefully we will have something with this. With Jordan Poole, we'll have something with I just said his name, Kyle Kuzma. But then that doesn't work out. They get rid of Kyle Kuzma. But now they're bringing in a guy that where you're going to get. You know where you're going to get from C.J. McCollum. C.J. McCollum it's a consistent 20-point game guy. And they got vets. Look, they're keeping Chris Middleton. Chris Middleton has is picking up his options, so he's staying. They still have Marcus Smart, so they have a veteran team. If anything, I don't know if you want to call it win now with the Wizards. I think it's just more being respectable. I'll tell you this though. Because we are a New York team, we are a New York show. This has a lot to do with the Knicks as well. Some people may not know that, but right now the Knicks do own the Washington Wizards first round pick next year. Now it's top 8 protected. So usually you would be like, that's not nothing anyway. Washington's always in the lottery. However, Washington now has some competency in their team with now C.J. McCollum, Chris Middleton. They may actually win a few games where, like, they get the 9th pick, 10th pick. That's coming to the Knicks. So let's go Washington. When it comes to New Orleans, I have no idea what they're doing. I'm going to be honest. You got so many question marks already when it comes to Zion, his health. You get rid of Brandon Ingram. You trade Brandon Ingram to Toronto. You don't know what you're doing with Troy Murphy or Herb Jones. DeJounte Murray's coming back from, being injured. Is he even going to be ready for the season? We don't know. And now you add Jordan Poole. That's just another question mark. I don't get the direction of New Orleans right now. So, I don't know, brother. What do you think?
I think if you're asking who won, I guess the Wizards is the
Yeah,
better
right.
of
Like
this. They come out stronger from this, I guess, because I don't get the direction of the Pelicans, and then you have that big question mark of your star player Zion Williamson. So it's a lot going on over there that just doesn't. If you are a Pelicans fan, I completely understand why you are waiting for football to start, because at least that looks more promising.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like, I don't know, man. I just, like, I just don't understand right now the what they're doing. It was a head scratcher to me, because C.J. McCollum is one of the only consistent things that they had, and now this happened. So, I don't know. I'm happy he ain't my team. Let's put it like that. But let's move on, brother, because we ain't done. There's still a lot more to go. The Charlotte Hornets, when I kind of let it out a little earlier when we were talking about the Phoenix Suns, the Charlotte Hornets had traded Mark Williams to the Phoenix Suns in exchange for it was a 29th pick in the draft and a 2029 first rounder. What does this trade say about the Suns, to be honest, and their win now mentality? And I don't know. Is he going to pass the physical? I don't know. What do you think, brother?
Well, that's one. That's one thing we have to worry about, right? But the other thing is just like it shows was the value for Mark Williams. I didn't think he was worth 2 first-round picks, but I guess that's what you're going to go ahead and do. Whether it is 4 years away, it's still 2 first-round picks. I don't know if the Suns are in win now mode. Like, you got rid of Durant, so it's mostly going to fall on Devin Booker's shoulders right now. And there's the other thing that was rumored for the Suns is between them and somewhere. Oh, the Clippers. That Chris Paul was rumored to go, go back. Don't be surprised if in this next week we hear that Chris Paul goes to either that team or the Clippers. I don't know the direction the Suns are going. The West is too strong for this to be their moves to make them stronger. That's not it.
Yeah, like I said earlier, they're just really they're strapped in the center position now. They drafted the center out of Duke. With the number 10 pick. They already had Richards, which is Mark Williams' backup in Charlotte already. And now, I think they might flip him, and I think they could get a nice little thing for him. I think Richards is a good center, and you look at teams like the Lakers, they need a center. You know what I mean? What does the Knicks do? If the Knicks flip Mitchell Robinson for something, and maybe they call Phoenix, hey, maybe we can get Richards. So, Mark Williams, I would say this is good if he's playing. And, I think if he would have been on the Lakers, I think the Lakers probably would have had a little bit more success. They could have used a guy like him. But it is what it is. I think it doesn't move the needle for the Suns, but let's just put it like this. Charlotte's just, they're a mess anyway. So he's going from one mess to another mess.
Right.
Let's just put it at that.
Right. If anything, I feel like Booker's years are being wasted, but I don't care.
Yeah, but he's got to be the bad guy. He's going to have to. Look, I want to get out of here.
So they either shape up or
Yeah, I like and you hear some of the things about he's like Kobe. He admires Kobe. He wants to be the one team guy, and it's like people tend to forget Kobe almost went to the Bulls. Kobe almost went to Dallas because things got so ugly in LA. And then they traded for Powell and they flipped it. But right now, bro, it's not getting better. You said it, bro. It's not getting better in Phoenix. You traded Kevin Durant. You're stuck with Bradley Beal. Like, it's not going to get better. You're over the cap. You have no money. You know what I mean? Like, it's not a good situation.
Yeah. Well, let's move it on then. So, the Chicago Bulls are trading Lonzo Ball to Cleveland Cavaliers in exchange for Isaac Okoro, according to sources from ESPN. What does this trade mean for both teams moving forward? And is Lonzo the missing piece in Cleveland?
I'll tell you this, though, man. As a Knicks fan, I didn't like this move. Because I think Lonzo gives Cleveland something that they lacked, and that's playmaking ability. Garland is not much of a table setter as Lonzo. Donovan Mitchell obviously is a score guard. Now obviously they're gonna lose Ty Jerome. I think once they made this deal, it's like, yeah, Ty Jerome is gone. They're not gonna be able to pay him. But they got rid of Isaac Okoro, and Isaac Okoro, bro, is known for defense, and that's it. The guy can't shoot worth a lick. And so it's like, yo, you flipped him for Lonzo. And don't get me wrong, like, Lonzo has missed a lot of games. I think he's only played 36 games this past season, missed 2 years prior to that, and then before the 2 years he was out, he played only 36 games. Now, he is a big if. He's probably the biggest if in the league. However, if he is healthy, this team is really good. So I like the move personally for Lonzo. Now, Okoro going to the Bulls, I don't think that does anything. But it can help because Josh Giddey's not that great of a defender, and neither is Kobe White. So maybe he can, you don't need him to shoot as much because you have Kobe White and Giddey. But they're out of that contract with Lonzo. I know Lonzo had just signed an extension with them not too long ago too.
Yeah.
So that was a good move for Cleveland. Good move for Cleveland is if Lonzo was healthy.
Yeah, I definitely think that Cleveland won the trade out of this, and you still get to keep. You still have Mobley, you still have Allen, you still have Mitchell.
Who knows?
So
I was reading that. Hey, now with this, do they maybe try to ship out Garland? Do they ship out Jared Allen? I think they got to get rid of. They ain't getting rid of Mobley, so I think they got to get rid of Allen. I think, although they had the best record in the East, you saw it in the playoffs. Allen reverted back to the soft Jared Allen that the stigma was on him. Therefore, I think they got to flip him. The two bigs is not rocking. You know what I mean? You got Mobley. Mobley is a defensive force. I don't think you need Allen.
We'll see. Well, I mean, there are some free agents that are still available.
Yeah, free agent does start this week, so let's see. But, brother, we got several notable players are locking in long-term deals with their respective teams as the NBA free agency is heating up, brother. Nas Reed is expected to re-sign with the Minnesota Timberwolves on a 5-year, $125 million deal that includes a player option. His teammate and former Knick Julius Randle also intends to sign a new 3-year deal, $100 million deal to stay with the Wolves. The Dallas Mavericks center Daniel Gafford is finalizing a 3-year, $60 million deal, while Kyrie Irving has agreed to a 3-year, $119 million deal to stay with Dallas. Meanwhile, James Harden is signing, which is a team-friendly deal to stay with the Clippers, a 2-year, $81 million deal. LeBron ain't doing that because LeBron just picked up his option to get paid $53 million for the year. So, you have Fred VanVleet, which I think was very big because you make the KD trade, but you have to keep this guy. Fred VanVleet plans to remain with the Houston Rockets as he's going to be signing a 2-year, $50 million extension, including with a player option in 26-27. So with all this said, brother, all these top dogs staying with their team. Which re-sign you think makes the biggest impact?
I want to say for their future, the Timberwolves. But for their, win now, the Lakers. Do you need to keep LeBron? It's not like he was going anywhere. But the biggest re-signing, I think, is LeBron. He's the face of the NBA, right? He still is. But for their future, it's definitely the Timberwolves. I'm
going to go with the T-Wolves as well. But I do think, man, Nas Reed getting 5 years, 125, I thought was a lot. I thought it was a lot. And breaking news, guys, Jabari Smith, Houston Rockets, is going to be signing a 5-year, $122 million rookie contract, a rookie contract extension. So Houston is locking up their young guys. So yeah, I'm gonna go with the Timberwolves, brother, because this is an interesting thing. Because I wanted to look this up why I did this, because I was really surprised. Obviously, they got new ownership. Alex Rodriguez and his partner, like, they got the new ownership now. Their salary cap right now is at 199, so they're over the tax threshold. They're over the first apron. Minnesota is not what you call a big market team. I just want to know, although they made those moves, how is that sustainable? You know what I mean? Like, I could easily see it being where they're going to go one more run with this team, and if they can't get to the finals or potentially win it, I could easily see them then trading Julius Randle or trading Nas Reed, because obviously the odd guy out now is Nickeil Alexander-Walker. He's done. He's gone. You've already committed to Nas and Randle. So I think they got the biggest impact. But it's you're paying, man. Nas Reed, you're gonna be paying him $25 million a year, and he's your backup big. He's good, but that's starters money, if you ask me. So I think that got the biggest impact, and I think I was fighting between that and obviously the Fred VanVleet, because I think that's underrated. I think with them getting Kevin Durant, it was important to keep VanVleet there, because VanVleet is a good player. He's their point guard. So I think it was important, but I'll go with Minnesota on that one.
All right. So let's jump into the rumor mill. So SNY's Ian Begley is reporting that the Knicks could have interest in signing Al Horford in free agency. Should New York Knicks seriously consider bringing in the veteran big man? And how would he fit into the current roster?
Man, I would be honest, bro. Yo, Big Al is, stay in Boston, my guy. We don't need Al Horford. And it's not, I don't want to waste a vet minimum on him, or anything like that. So I know what he can bring to the locker room and the leadership, and I know he has like a good relationship with Kat, with the, from them being Dominican and playing on the Dominican team and stuff like that. But I don't think he fits this. The Knicks need to be more athletic, and you know what I mean? Like, adding an old guy is not going to fix the current issues that the Knicks have, which is depth, and they need to be athletic. Right. So, no, I'm cool with Al Horford. Maybe if this was like 4 years ago, yeah, sign me up.
Honestly, I'd take it 2 years ago. I'd take it 2 years ago.
But you know what's the crazy part? Like, when it comes to Al Horford, it's just something in Boston, because when his first run Boston, amazing. Then he goes to Philly, didn't play that well. Well, people forget, like, then he had a stop like an OKC where he was like, yo, he's done for. Then he goes back to Boston and he looks, like rejuvenated. And I think that would be the case here. I think we'll bring him in, and then it's like, bro, did y'all see how he played against us in the playoffs? Father Time is knocking on the door. He might be already in the crib when it comes to Al Horford. So I'm cool with that. I'm good on that. Brother, according to KFTV, reports say that the Knicks have reached out for this head coaching thing is getting crazy. They have reached out to Dawn Staley. She's the head coach of the South Carolina women's basketball team about the Knicks head coaching vacancy. Brother, can we actually see Dawn Staley coaching our New York Knicks?
I saw somebody use the picture of Whoopi Goldberg as the coach.
Oh, Eddie? Oh, that's one of my favorites. I love that movie, Eddie. Oh, man.
But I saw that on Twitter circulating. It was like, oh, Dawn Staley is the coach of the Knicks. I think it's more so the Knicks doing their due diligence and
Yeah.
just giving I treat it like the Rooney Rule, where everybody gets a fair shake, kind of thing. But what is surprising of all this is that by now the draft already happened, and we thought we would have gotten a signing by now. I did say that we have time, but now we're getting into July and free agency is about to take off, and it's just. You want that coach to be a part of this process, and the fact that it is Sunday, at the time of this recording, Sunday, 9 o'clock p.m., and we still don't have a signing for the Knicks head coach, it's just, I don't want to hit the panic button. I'm not hitting the panic button. All I'm saying is just, it's interesting that they haven't signed someone by now.
Well, yeah, you're hearing that Taylor Jenkins and Mike Brown are going to be getting second-round interviews, I believe, this week coming up. Dawn Staley is one of the respected people in basketball, and what she's done for South Carolina women's basketball is amazing. However, I don't know what I think Leon at this point is just more trolling, and this isn't to no disrespect to Dawn Staley at all, but I think it's just more of that. It just seems like a troll job. It does seem like we're gonna get either Taylor Jenkins or Mike Brown. You hear some people say Mike Brown might be the lead candidate. I surely hope not. But I agree with you. As free agency is looming, I think it's important that the Knicks get their head coaching, because then you have to, the head coach, right? This is how you know what you're going to play. You know what kind of system you're going to play. So then you know what kind of players to go for. So, I think I got a feeling that we're going to be breaking some head coaching hirings this week. Speaking of the Knicks and everything like that, according to NBA reporter Jake Fisher, the Celtics reportedly want a Mikal Bridges type package in return for any Derek White trade. Is that a realistic asking price, brother?
Let's take our hate for the Celtics to the side, right? Let's put that to the side. Derek White is not no Mikal Bridges, and I say that respectfully. Derek White, he brings a lot, but Mikal Bridges is so much better when you're talking about what you're trading for. I don't see. I don't know. The NBA is so weird, but I don't see that. If you're asking me, I don't see him getting that value.
So, just for those that don't know, obviously the Knicks traded 5 first-round picks for Mikal Bridges. So, the Celtics will want a Mikal Bridges, which means 5 picks. I gotta kind of disagree with you on Mikal being better than Derek White.
Okay.
And I'll say this because Derek White does so many, and Mikal Bridges could be that. He could be that. When I say that, I'm not saying Derek White is way over Mikal. I just think they're there. I think they're the same kind of player, because Derek White, one, can guard multiple positions, very much like Mikal Bridges. And Derek White could score. Derek White does so much, so much of the intangibles on the floor, man. And you look at what guys like Desmond Bane went for, and you look at Mikal Bridges, and I don't think it's a stretch, and I don't think it's like a big axe to get. If you want Derek White, yeah, this is what we want. Look what Derek Bane went for. You know what I mean? I like you said, we put our hate to the side for the Celtics. I would ask for the same thing. You want Derek White? I want a Mikal Bridges like deal, because I know what he's gonna do. I know what he could do. Derek White's a baller. He's a baller.
Yeah, I differ from you that on this. I don't think that it's not as he's a baller. I just don't think value.
Mikal. I agree with you in the sense of I think Mikal has a more upside. I would say that, but from what I've seen so far of how Mikal played and what I've seen with Derek White, I would take Derek White right now at this moment. I would take Derek White.
Valid argument, brother.
Yeah.
I got the next one.
Yeah.
All right.
This is a juicy one. This is a juicy one. This is a juicy one.
Lastly, the U.S. District Attorney's Office has launched an investigation into the Detroit Pistons guard Malik Beasley over allegations of gambling on NBA games and prop bets, per ESPN sources. This is a serious development involving one of the offseason's top free agents. If these allegations hold up, what could this mean for Beasley's career and the league's stance on players gambling moving forward?
He's done. He better call Ice Cube. Go to Big Three. If his ass don't go to jail. We spoke about this, brother, before we recorded. He was about to get the bag. He was about to get the bag. He had his best season of his career. Shot well over 40% from the three. Hey, look, he gave us fits. You know what I mean? Didn't have such a great postseason, but he was just such an important piece for that Detroit team that, you know, had a great season and really pushed the Knicks in the first round. He was looking at, you know, the contract that he fought hard for in his career. But greed. We talked about it in with WWE in Saudi Arabia. Greed, and I get it. Like, and you're starting to see this. You saw this what Michael Porter's brother, right, on Toronto. A lot of these things are coming from these role player journeyman kind of players. And that's what Malik Beasley was. You know, Malik Beasley has played for several teams. Obviously, he has not made the top money where, you know, you think of like the LeBron. He's not making the 20 million, 30 million a year. Now, I get that, but he's also not making $25 an hour. You know what I mean? Like, he's still in the millions. He's still making millions. And when you're doing something like that, and I partially blame the NBA. You've even said this too, brother, about like they promote gambling. Like, that's all you see now. Back in the day, you saw cigarette and beer commercials and food when you're watching a game. Now it's gambling and food. Like, commercials, that's all you see. Watch any football game. Watch any basketball game, baseball game. It's a FanDuel commercial. Then here in Florida, it's a Hard Rock commercial. It's whatever, like DraftKings, this, that. So it's like, you know what I mean? It's in your face. I think his career's done. If this ends up coming out that he did do it, he's gonna be banned from the NBA. That's one, and he might go to jail.
Beasley, I want you to learn some Chinese because you might be going to the Shanghai Sharks. Brother, I don't understand. Like, it is a greed thing because at the end of the day, you are an NBA player. You're not making chump change, and if you don't know how to manage your money, then clearly a lot of things are going wrong for you. Because we're over here, and it's whatever, talent, whatever. You make that much money because you play that hard. You're probably one of the best talents in the world. But you have guys who are going day in, day out to their jobs and working harder than you, doing because you're playing a game of basketball. At the end of the day, that's what you're doing. And you're asking for more money. It doesn't make sense to me. It really doesn't. And I just don't. Like, it's an addiction. It's stupid. It's dumb. And as a matter of fact, think of Saved by the Bell, the dumb, stupid, like
stupid.
That's exactly
Stinks.
That's exactly what I feel like when I think of this with Malik Beasley. That was a really dumb, stupid decision. And the NBA, you definitely have to put yourself under a microscope in all sports because at the end of the day, you have to not be oblivious to this thing. These things are going to keep happening with your players because at the end of the day, you just make it so easy. I can go and sign up and get $100 free when I put my first bet in. Like, it's just it. And if I'm not putting it, then I'm putting my manager, Shohei Ohtani. My bad. It's really ridiculous of what it's become. And at some point, you definitely don't want to question the integrity of your game, but you also have to question the money that you're making from these deals because you're not stopping DraftKings and everyone else from sponsoring you. So figure it out.
And you can already see that now the reports is coming out that Detroit's already pivoting, you know, with this situation. Now they may look at Karis LeVert. They might even go after Alexander Walker. You know what I mean? So, you know, I think he is a big missed opportunity for him, and it's greed. And I'm going to be honest, it couldn't happen to a better guy. I'm not the biggest Malik Beasley fan. He talked a lot of crap about New York and stuff like that, and he's done. I think he's done for, bro. He's done.
Even if he's cleared, because it's allegations at this point, it's being investigated. Even if he's cleared, a lot of teams are going to be questioning, like they're going to be hesitant to do that. So, like I said, learn Chinese, brother. They'll pay you the bag.
Yeah, he might.
And you might be able to bet over there.
And the funny part is that now, like, people are going into, like, his games, and they're looking at it. Look, I'm looking at it right now. Malik Beasley goes coast to coast with no time left to cut the lead from 9 to 7. And the Timberwolves was a plus 8.5. It was covered. You know what I'm saying? So now they're going to start dissecting his games like that. And that's not the first one. I've seen some other stuff, too. So, like, they're going to start dissecting it now to see if he was, doing that kind of stuff. So it's just dumb, man. And it's just, that's what happens when you get greedy, So it is what it is. But guys, we cannot wrap up an episode without sharing the highlight of the week. And let's just put it like this. This highlight of the week is probably the only good thing that's happened for this particular squad in a very long time. So let's get into it.
He's on fire!
All right, y'all. The highlight of the week is going to go out to the New York Mets. That's right. The New York Mets, they ain't winning games, but they are a recipient of the highlight of the week as a super utility guy. Jeff McNeil made a phenomenal catch, robbing Marcell Ozuna of a home run. It set the tone. It set the tone in that game. Obviously, the Mets lost the first two games of that series. That was game 3, you know what I mean? And then I think Juan Soto hit 2 bombs in that game, and you thought things were coming around, you know what I mean? It was a great catch from Jeff McNeil. He's not, he's played all over. He's really an infielder, brother. So for him to make that play, that was dope. That was a dope play from him, and he's the recipient of the highlight of the week.
Yeah, this one looks like when you're playing the show and you're like, can my player get there? And it looked like it shades of that. It's just like start backing up. Oh no, I can catch it, and he looked good. It looked good.
Yeah, it was good, and I felt like I had to make up. And it's funny because in that same game, I'm drawing a blank on his name. The center fielder, Harris for the Braves, made a phenomenal. I think that catch was slightly better, but I'm like, you know what? The Ozone, we can't have 2 Atlanta Braves getting the highlight of the week back to back. That I think we would lose all our Met fan supporters. I think, yeah. So I'm not going to front. I was being a little biased on this one because I did think that the Michael Harris catch was better than McNeil's. But given Jeff McNeil is not he's not an outfielder. You know what I mean? And to make that play in that time, in that moment where the Mets needed a pick-me-upper because they dropped the first 2 games. Now, obviously, we know that didn't pick them up, right? But shout out to Jeff McNeil for being a recipient of the highlight of the week. Guys, we're wrapping up. We thank you guys for scheduling conflict on my end. Super producer Dave is always ready. Not me all the time. So I apologize personally that this episode had to come out on a Tuesday, but it worked out because we were able to cover a lot of the Sunday night stuff, brother. So it does work. It kind of worked out a little bit. Right. But guys, we thank you guys for your continuous support, and we just, check us out on everything, all our platforms. We are available on TikTok, Threads, Instagram, YouTube. I always botch this thing.
You're gonna have to pull up the graphic. Guys, we are available. God. We're available on Threads, TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, Reddit, and did I miss any?
You got all of them.
All right.
You got all of them. Yeah, guys, we're available on all that. Especially
just look at the graphic. Just look at the graphic.
Peep the graphic. Make sure to follow us, guys. Give us a thumbs up. Like, comment, let us know. It's especially with the NBA free agency. What do you guys think was the biggest signing? What do you guys think is the biggest moves? What moves need to be done when it comes to the NBA? Let us know about what you guys thought of Night of Champions. We said CM Punk, John Cena, maybe the end of an era, maybe their last match. in their career. What do you guys think? What do you guys are thinking about? Are you guys hyped for the Subway Series? Both teams are not playing their best baseball right now, but are we still hyped for this matchup? Can the Mets turn it around? Do they got to press the panic button? What guys do you think that they should be going for? Let us know in the comments below, guys. So, brother, it's been a good episode. It's been a good show. And you want to deliver more fire next week?
I want to deliver more fire.
Yeah, we're going to deliver more fire. So, guys, you guys have a great week, and we tapping with y'all next week. Peace.
It's more than a podcast. It's a sports throne. Let's kick it off right. Welcome to the Ozone.